The smell of fryer oil clung to my hair no matter how many showers I took. By late afternoon, the sea breeze could only do so much. The neon sign above the diner buzzed, one letter dead, as if it too were tired of pretending. I wiped the counter with more force than needed, trying to ignore the whispers about the sale. A week left. That was all the owner had given us before the contract would be signed. Soft clock ticking in fluorescent light. Then she walked in. Marina. Clipboard in hand, blazer sharp, the faint salt of the ocean on her skin. My stomach tightened like I'd swallowed a hook. Years since she'd left, and now she was the one with authority over whether this place lived or died. "Sam," she said evenly, pen poised, "I'm here to review the books." I swallowed. Guess the universe wanted to punish me for overcooking that batch of fries. But humor couldn't cover the sting. She set her folder down on the counter, and in that moment I noticed. Our hands almost brushed. Old familiarity met cold procedure. The obstacle came quick. She was here as auditor, not ex-girlfriend, and I couldn't let her see everything. Not yet. Too many numbers, too many mistakes, too much heart hidden in those ledgers. I led her to the cramped office behind the kitchen. The hum of the cooler filled the silence. She flipped pages, eyes narrowing at a cluster of receipts. "These are duplicates," she murmured. "Same amounts, same dates. Either incompetence or fraud." I felt the heat rise. Coup number 1 shining ugly from the page. I reached for another binder, knocking a coffee-stained pencil cup to the floor, clatter breaking the tension. "They're old," I said quickly. "Let me organize these before you jump to conclusions." When she turned toward the window light, I slipped a stack of older records into my apron, heart hammering, action born of panic, protecting the diner, protecting my boss, maybe protecting myself from seeing what truth those records carried. Her eyes caught mine, suspicious but not unkind. "You always did think you could fix things by hiding them." The words sliced deeper than I wanted to admit. The diner bell rang in the distance, customers arriving. I forced a smile and brushed flour from my hands. People get restless when the fries don't show up. But inside, the clock ticked louder. The sale looming. The ache of Marina's presence heavier than any ledger. Lunch rush hit like a storm. Plates clattered, orders shouted, and the radio fought with the hiss of the fryer. I tried to keep rhythm, burger flips, salt shakes, towel swipes, while keeping one eye on Marina weaving through the crowd. Her clipboard was as sharp a weapon as any in this kitchen. By mid-shift, she was behind the counter, slipping past the swinging door like she belonged here again. The obstacle came fast, her hand on a file folder half hidden under a tray of buns. "Sam," she said low, "what are you not showing me?" The clang of the bell and the sizzle of onions kept us half shielded, half exposed. Still, her voice carried enough to draw curious glances. Public risk, right in the heart of the diner. I lunged, grabbing the folder before she could flip it open. My elbow nearly knocked over a pot of coffee, sending steam up between us. The sting of heat on my wrist shocked me back into myself. "Not here," I hissed. "You'll ruin more than paperwork if you don't let this go." She studied me, frustration edged with something softer. "I can't just ignore falsified numbers. The town wants proof. Half of them want this place condemned. And the other half clung to it, same as me. A tug of war bigger than both of us." As she spoke, I noticed a strip of register tape curling off the counter, papers speckled with grease. Tucked inside was something folded, stiff. I pulled it out, a rehearsal script. Pages marked with highlighted lines and stage directions. Clue number 2. out of place among orders and totals. Who rehearses with fake receipts? I glanced at Marina. I said nothing, just held the script out to her. Someone staged this, I whispered. It's not just sloppy bookkeeping. But a cook hollered for more buns, and I was dragged back into chaos. Marina stayed at the edge, watching me with that mix of duty and lingering memory. Her presence made my hands tremble, even as they moved with muscle memory across the grill. By the time the last lunch plate cleared, sweat plastered my hair to my forehead. Marina leaned against the doorframe, script in hand, lips pressed tight. The clock ticked on, slipping minutes away. I realized a whole hour had vanished without me noticing. Time slippage, stolen by heat and noise, and the fact that she was too close. "Talk to me," she said finally, "or I'll have no choice but to shut this place down." Her words clanged louder than any plate. The fryer hissed, but all I heard was my own pulse. Night settled heavy over the diner, neon flickering weak against the tide outside. Chairs were stacked, lights dimmed, and only the jukebox kept company, spitting out an old ballad with lyrics about money slipping through fingers. A clue or just cruel coincidence? My ears sharpened at the line, almost accusing. Pockets lined while the hungry wait. Clue number 3, though it would later unravel. Marina sat across from me in the booth where we'd once stolen kisses after closing shifts. The cracked vinyl stuck to the backs of our legs. She leaned forward, hair falling loose, her blazer abandoned, vulnerable and angry. "Why did you really hide those records?" she pressed. I stared at the condensation trailing down my water glass. "Because I don't trust what you'll do with them. You left once, Marina, without an explanation. Why should I hand you the only thing keeping this place alive?" Her eyes softened, then hardened again. "I left because if I stayed, I'd have broken us worse. My father got sick and Sam, I didn't think I could ask you to follow me." The honesty burned. My chest ached with equal parts fury and longing. "You should have trusted me. Instead, you left me guessing." Silence thickened. The jukebox carried the weight, its lyrics cutting in, accusings of greed, of theft. It felt too pointed. A red herring, though I didn't know it then. The obstacle now was not just ledgers and receipts, but the raw nerve of us. Attraction rekindled, yes, but tangled with years of mistrust. My hand brushed hers on the table, and she pulled back, jaw set. "I can't ignore the evidence," she said, voice trembling. "Tomorrow I report, unless you come clean." Her chair scraped back, loud in the empty diner. She grabbed her folder, eyes bright with unshed tears, and stormed toward the door. The bell jangled above her as it closed, the sound sharp as glass. I sat there, hollowed out, realizing how much time had slipped again, 2 hours gone unnoticed. The clock now pressed heavier. If she reported tomorrow, the sale was guaranteed. Everything would collapse. I buried my face in my hands, the jukebox still crooning about stolen cash. My heart wanted her back. My fear told me it was already too late. Morning broke with gulls screaming and salt spray painting the windows. I dragged myself to the back shelves, searching for anything that might explain the mess. My fingers landed on a mug, chipped and dusty. A cracked ceramic handle, initials etched in glaze. L.H., the diner's founder. Clue number 4. My chest tightened. Inside, folded receipts matched the missing amounts. But instead of theft, notes explained, repairs paid quietly for a neighbor's storm-damaged boat. A kindness hidden. Provenance clear. The mug was the founder's way of keeping record without shame. Not fraud, compassion. I bolted from the diner, mug clutched tight. The pier stretched out. Gulls circling. Marina's figure stood near the water, hair whipping. I ran, breath sharp, shouting her name.
She turned, wary. I held out the mug. It wasn't theft. Look. The money covered repairs. For people here. That song last night, it wasn't an accusation. It was about solidarity. We got it wrong. Red herring laid bare, reframed. The jukebox lyric no longer a dagger, but a reminder. The diner was about community, not profit. She scanned the notes, her shoulders trembling. If I defend this, I risk everything. And I risk losing this place, losing you. My voice cracked. But if we stand together? The clang of the harbor bell cut me off. The meeting, the contract. We sprinted, side by side, salt wind in our lungs. Inside the hall, developers in suits shuffled papers. Marina stepped forward first, voice steady. These records were falsified by outside parties. The diner's books tell a different story, one of community aid. I signed my name to that. Mutual cost clear. Her reputation, my job, both on the line. The developer's smirk faltered. The sale halted. The diner saved, for now. As the room emptied, Marina's hand found mine. Maybe we get a second chance too. I squeezed back. No ledger could measure the value of that. Outside, the diner's neon flickered against dusk, half lit, but alive. We stood together, no words, just the glow reflecting off the waves. Our silence more cinematic than any speech.